What's up everybody? Today I'm going to be tying a jig that I call the fire minnow. For this jig I'm using a 1/16 ounce freestyle jig head with a size 4 sickle hook. I powder painted that with a base coat of yellow and then I immediately dipped it into ProTec Disco Gold, and it has a 5mm gold 3D eye. For the thread I'm going to be using UTC Ultra Thread 70 denier in yellow. We're just going to start that thread behind the head and take it down to the point of the hook. For the tail, I'm going to be using this tiger barred rabbit strip. This is orange and black over fluorescent yellow. So I cut off about a ½ inch of that hide. You want just enough so that the end of the strip goes up to the head. And I've split those tail fibers to the side so that about half of them would be on one side of the jig and half would be on the other. We're going to tie this in on the bottom of the hook and we don't want it to get in the way, so it's easier to split that beforehand. We just want to give it a few tight wraps to make sure it stays held down. We'll go a little further back with the thread wraps. Make sure it's really tight. And now we're going to take about 1/3 of those fur fibers and then we're going to tie our thread over that to secure the hide down more. And then we're going to take another 1/3. Just pull those up out of the way and then tie your thread over that as well. Just do a really tight wrap. And then you can let go and bring your thread back up to the thread wraps by the head. And cinch it down tight right there again. So this just gives us a couple good thread wraps down further on the rabbit strip so that it stays held down, not just near the head, but across the whole strip. For the belly of this jig, we're going to be using this Bruiser Blend Junior in cream. So we're just going to take a clump of that and stack the fibers. Just keep pulling them apart and sticking them back together till they line up the best you can. Just like that. And once you've got those fibers nice and straight, you're going to flip the jig over and then tie that in right on the top. We want about 1/3 of the fibers to go back across the jig and 2/3 to go up past the head. We're just going to tie that down, give it a nice tight wrap of thread. Give it another wrap, and then we're going to pull all those fibers back and then just wrap over that slightly with the thread. We don't want to go too far, we want to secure it just enough so that that belly stays secured. I want to keep it in place without getting rid of the bulk of that. And then we're going to pull the fibers to either side just like this, so that they're not just on the bottom. We want them to cross the rabbit strip just a little bit. And now we're going to take another piece of that rabbit strip, just a tiny little piece, and we're just going to tie that in right there on top of that other rabbit strip. Just secure it down nice and tight. We want just a tiny bit of hide to go past the thread wraps. And then we're going to wrap over that a few times just to hide it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just cover it the best you can. And now we're going to whip finish. Just going to give it a 5 or 6 turn whip finish. Pull the thread tight and clip it off. And then since we're tying with rabbit strips, I like to add a little bit of super glue, so just a little bead there. Then I'm going to spread that all around the thread. This will just help the jig stay together. And there we have it. This is what the completed jig looks like when it's dry. You can see it looks like a really bright bait fish. Now let me get it wet to show you what it looks like. So here it is wet. I didn't wet it completely apparently, but you get the idea. You see that it has a nice minnow profile with that yellow and orange. That fade makes it look really cool. And then the rabbit strip just gives it a super nice action. And then that bruiser blend just gives it a nice white round minnow belly. This is a really awesome jig. I definitely recommend that you try it out in your favorite colors. I'm sure you'll knock them dead. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.